In this lesson, we're going to talk about your thoughts. Your thoughts are the most precious resource you have because they control everything else. Obviously, if you're looking at an external resource, time is the most precious resource because you can't get that back. But internally, your thoughts are something you should guard and protect more than anything else because your thoughts dictate where your mindset is, what you're thinking about, and that dictates your actions. Your actions are what dictate your reality and the things that are going on around you. Your reality and your current stance in life is what dictates your future. Thoughts dictate actions, which dictates your future. If you want to change your future, you have to change your thoughts. So what I want you to think about is reverse engineering. You can think about, who do I want to be? If I'm not healthy or not athletic, and I think I want to be athletic or I want to be healthy, first you accept I'm not healthy, I'm not athletic. Then I can think, what would a healthy or athletic person do, think, say in this moment? And from there, I can create a present thought and present desired state from a future result. I can say, well, I don't know what to eat to be healthier, but I'm assuming a healthy person would go and work out right now, or they would go and eat, or they would choose a healthy, nutritious food as opposed to fast food, or they wouldn't snack. And then you can say, okay, that changes. I'm thinking like a healthy person would, therefore I'm acting like a healthy person would, therefore I become a healthy person. And now that can seem a little tangential, but it is so true. When you understand the power of your thoughts, you can then start to embody the thoughts of someone or a position you want to be and reverse engineer backwards. End goal, so future, actions, thoughts. I can say thoughts turn into actions and future. That lesson right there is so impactful and so meaningful because that allows you to then create any outcome you want by changing your thoughts. And people have this backwards. They think, I have an inspiration, I have this dream, I have this thing I want to do. And that becomes, I need to be motivated to go and do that. And then that will make me do an action. And they have it backwards because you don't get inspired first. You don't have motivation, like this ongoing drive to do things. The reality is your actions create motivation. Your motivation is momentum that creates inspiration. So when you realize that you can't sit around and wait for motivation and your thoughts to not and feel happy and excited for you to actually do something, that changes your stimulus that you require to get out and make an action happen. There's internal and there's external motivation. Most of us rely on external motivation to get things done. A coach or a teammate or the other team that's playing and pushing us to do something, a YouTube video or a song. We look at these things and I need to get out motivated. And if I don't have this, I don't know how to create that internally. But the reality is those are all cheap forms of motivation because they don't last. You may be motivated for a few minutes, a few hours, maybe even a few days, but it's not going to stick. All you need to do to look at that and see that that's true is to look at everybody on a New Year's resolution that gets motivated because everyone else is doing it and it doesn't stick. The real form of motivation you want is internal motivation. And that's a drive to say, I want to do this because it's meaningful to me and this is why. That is what sticks. But the problem is you can't just hope for internal motivation. You have to generate that. And the way that internal motivation is generated is from your actions. So this is where it goes back to your thoughts because your actions are a direct reflection of your thought. If you think, what is the end result I want? What am I trying to do? I can go backwards and think, what would a XYZ person do? And I think that way. That leads to action. And again, over time, those actions lead to momentum, motivation, and then inspiration. That is how you do it. So the big takeaway from that is don't wait for motivation to feel good about doing something. Start with action. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. Just start, do something, and get the feedback. Because remember, there's no failure, it's just feedback. Start with the action, get the feedback, and continue to course correct as you go, and that builds into motivation, and that builds into inspiration for bigger dreams and goals. The last tool to think about this is this idea of your future self. Thinking about yourself outside of a moment. And another helpful tool to do this is the 10-10-10 rule. If you're hit with some impulse or some temptation or some challenge, you think, what would the future me in 10 minutes, how would they feel? Would they still be mad or want this? If it's I offer you a cookie and you really want a cookie. And you can say, well, let's do the 10-10-10 rule. In 10 minutes, will I still want the cookie? Well, maybe, but probably not as much. Okay, in 10 days. No, I will only remember that I had the cookie, I won't care. What about in 10 years? No, I will think about this at all. And so you can look and think the significance. If it's not going to matter in 10 minutes and 10 hours and 10 days, 10 months, 10 years, 10 decades, it's not going to matter. It's not important. So things that scale all the way up, those are things that are actually important, and you can think outside of the moment. Because so often it's not that we don't have an intention of changing or doing something. It's just that we haven't developed the skills to bring that bigger desire into this short-term moment for discipline to make a choice that lines up with that. But if you get in the habit of thinking, what is me outside of this moment? What's the long-term trajectory of the person I want to be? Do they make this choice? And if those two aren't in alignment, then you got your choice made for you. So control your thoughts, because they are what dictate everything else in your life.